ghouls, ghosts, goblins, government tax audits. All of these things scare the shit out of me. More so, the tax audit. I'm just saying. This is simply horrifying. This month, we take a look at
Tales from the Crypt.
We are back with another edition of Simply Horrifying from Simplistic Reviews. I'm your host, Matt, of course, and we are moving on to another episode from Season 2 of Tales from the Crypt as we continue our retrospective of my favorite episodes of the series. And this one is entitled Korman's Kalamity. Korman with a K, Calamity with a K also, so it's an alliterative episode. Probably, I think our first alliterative episode. I think our only alliterative episode of Tales from the Crypt. And a lot of interesting things going on in this episode. Number one, Harry Anderson, who you might remember as the judge from Night Court, is your main star in this episode. And also a very young Richard Schiff. And you might remember Richard Schiff from Lost World Jurassic Park. He is the guy who tries to save Malcolm and his wife and Vince Vaughn from the trailers going over the side, but he gets ripped in half by two T-Rexes in that movie. But in this one, he plays a rapist, so he had to move his way up from rapist to almost savior of the stars of Jurassic Park, or the Lost World Jurassic Park. And it's also directed by Rowdy Herrington, who you should know as the director of the fine film Roadhouse. And I've been on a Roadhouse tear lately. I just found it for $5 the other day, and it's wonderful on Blu-ray. So, moving on. Korman's Calamity. This is the 6th episode, I believe, from the 2nd season. And it's a very meta episode. It's kind of funny because Harry Anderson's character, Korman, he is a artist for the Tales from the Crypt comic book. He has a nagging wife, and he also is under the influence of these new experimental drugs. And these drugs happen to make his wildest fantasies or his drawings come to life, and they start killing people or wreaking havoc. So you have dinosaurs and cars, you have laundry monsters eating rapists, you have ghouls coming out of old refrigerators, you have a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on that this guy's thought of in his head. So, come the end, he finds another woman he's more interested than his nagging wife. Of course, the nagging wife is not too keen on this, and that's it. I'll leave it at that. I won't spoil the twist again, but it's a fun episode. It's actually got some really good creature effects in it. It's way more on the fantasy side than a lot of the other Tales from the Crypt episodes, which I like a lot also. And it's just a fun, simple little episode. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Like, it's very colorful, and it's got some good gore in it as well too, which I always appreciate. So that's it. Korman's Calamity from Season 2 of Tales from the Crypt. And that will be it for this edition of Simply Horrifying. And we'll see you guys back in the crypt next time.
You've survived another spine-tingling episode of Simply Horrifying. It's the only show where being a creep is completely appropriate.